I want to tell you up front, before anything else, that the child in this case is safe. He is with family. He is okay. I am telling you that first because what I am about to show you is going to make you need to know it. What the dashcam captures on Interstate 10 eastbound on the evening of June 14, 2024, is one of the most disturbing pieces of child endangerment footage in Arizona's recent case history. A vehicle ahead stops in a travel lane. A man gets out. He opens the rear door. He places a small child 4 years old, in sneakers and a dinosaur shirt on the asphalt shoulder at the edge of live freeway traffic. He gets back in. He drives away. He drives away. The child stands on the shoulder. He watches the car go. He does not run after it. He stands there. And for 4 minutes and 12 seconds until Arizona DPS Trooper Elena Vasquez arrived, Noah was alone on the shoulder of Interstate 10 while traffic moved at 65 miles per hour 3 feet from where he was standing. Except he was not alone. Not for most of those 4 minutes and 12 seconds. Because 12 drivers saw what they saw, and every one of them stopped. A man from a silver pickup truck standing between a 4-year-old and 65-mile-per-hour freeway traffic with his arms out. He is not a law enforcement officer. He does not know this child. He saw what he saw and he stopped his truck and he got out and he put his body between the child and the lane. We are going to come back to those 12 people. They are part of this story. The first 12 seconds. The dashcam's timestamp records the moment Webb's vehicle disappears from frame at 19 hours 22 minutes and 44 seconds. The first 911 call to Maricopa County Emergency Communications was logged at 19 hours 22 minutes and 56 seconds. 12 seconds. The caller, a 34-year-old account manager from Chandler who was driving home from work, had her phone in her hand before Webb's taillights were out of sight. She told the dispatcher, "There is a small child standing alone on the I-10 shoulder near Estrella. A man just stopped his car and left him there. I am stopped on the shoulder. There are other cars stopping." Other cars stopping. By the time of the second 911 call at 19 hours 23 minutes and 4 seconds 8 seconds after the first, there were 4 vehicles stopped on and around the shoulder. By 19 hours 23 minutes and 30 seconds, there were 7. By 19 hours and 24 minutes, there were 12 individual drivers who had stopped their vehicles on or adjacent to the shoulder of a live freeway and evening rush traffic to form a human buffer between a 4-year-old and the moving lane. The Maricopa County 911 log from that 4-minute and 12-second window received 9 separate calls about Noah from 9 separate callers. Each caller provided an independent description of what they had seen. Each description was consistent. Each caller described, in some form, the same thing: a man, a car, a child placed on the shoulder, the car leaving. What the 12 did. The Arizona DPS incident report, compiled after the fact from driver statements and dashcam footage from multiple vehicles, documented the specific actions of the 12 drivers who stopped. The woman who exited first, the caller whose 911 call was logged at 19 hours 22 minutes and 56 seconds, crouched on the shoulder near Noah and spoke to him. She told investigators she asked him his name. She said he told her. She said he was not crying. She said he was looking in the direction where the car had gone. She stayed with him until Trooper Vasquez arrived. The man from the silver pickup who stood between Noah and the traffic remained in position for 3 minutes and 41 seconds, the duration from when he exited his vehicle to when Vasquez's patrol unit arrived. He told investigators later that he had not thought about what he was doing. He said, "I just put myself in between." He said it the way people describe an instinctive act. Like it could not have been otherwise. I want to tell you up front, before anything else, that the child in this case is safe. He is with family. He is okay. I am telling you that first because what I am about to show you is going to make you need to know it. What the dashcam captures on Interstate 10 eastbound on the evening of June 14, 2024, is one of the most disturbing pieces of child endangerment footage in Arizona's recent case history. A vehicle ahead stops in a travel lane. A man gets out. He opens the rear door. He places a small child 4 years old, in sneakers and a dinosaur shirt on the asphalt shoulder at the edge of live freeway traffic. He gets back in. He drives away. He drives away. The child stands on the shoulder. He watches the car go. He does not run after it. He stands there. And for 4 minutes and 12 seconds until Arizona DPS Trooper Elena Vasquez arrived, Noah was alone on the shoulder of Interstate 10 while traffic moved at 65 miles per hour 3 feet from where he was standing. Except he was not alone. Not for most of those 4 minutes and 12 seconds. Because 12 drivers saw what they saw, and every one of them stopped. A man from a silver pickup truck standing between a 4-year-old and 65-mile-per-hour freeway traffic with his arms out. He is not a law enforcement officer. He does not know this child. He saw what he saw and he stopped his truck and he got out and he put his body between the child and the lane. We are going to come back to those 12 people. They are part of this story. The first 12 seconds. The dashcam's timestamp records the moment Webb's vehicle disappears from frame at 19 hours 22 minutes and 44 seconds. The first 911 call to Maricopa County Emergency Communications was logged at 19 hours 22 minutes and 56 seconds. 12 seconds. The caller, a 34-year-old account manager from Chandler who was driving home from work, had her phone in her hand before Webb's taillights were out of sight. She told the dispatcher, "There is a small child standing alone on the I-10 shoulder near Estrella. A man just stopped his car and left him there. I am stopped on the shoulder. There are other cars stopping." Other cars stopping. By the time of the second 911 call at 19 hours 23 minutes and 4 seconds 8 seconds after the first, there were 4 vehicles stopped on and around the shoulder. By 19 hours 23 minutes and 30 seconds, there were 7. By 19 hours and 24 minutes, there were 12 individual drivers who had stopped their vehicles on or adjacent to the shoulder of a live freeway and evening rush traffic to form a human buffer between a 4-year-old and the moving lane. The Maricopa County 911 log from that 4-minute and 12-second window received 9 separate calls about Noah from 9 separate callers. Each caller provided an independent description of what they had seen. Each description was consistent. Each caller described, in some form, the same thing: a man, a car, a child placed on the shoulder, the car leaving. What the 12 did. The Arizona DPS incident report, compiled after the fact from driver statements and dashcam footage from multiple vehicles, documented the specific actions of the 12 drivers who stopped. The woman who exited first, the caller whose 911 call was logged at 19 hours 22 minutes and 56 seconds, crouched on the shoulder near Noah and spoke to him. She told investigators she asked him his name. She said he told her. She said he was not crying. She said he was looking in the direction where the car had gone. She stayed with him until Trooper Vasquez arrived. The man from the silver pickup who stood between Noah and the traffic remained in position for 3 minutes and 41 seconds, the duration from when he exited his vehicle to when Vasquez's patrol unit arrived. He told investigators later that he had not thought about what he was doing. He said, "I just put myself in between." He said it the way people describe an instinctive act. Like it could not have been otherwise. A third driver had a first aid kit in her vehicle and offered it to the woman with Noah, in case it was needed. It was not needed. Noah was physically unharmed. But she had brought it. She had thought to bring it. A fourth driver, a long-haul trucker who had been in the left lane and had stopped his rig across the left and center lanes to slow traffic approaching the cluster of stopped vehicles, told investigators he had children of his own. He said, "You don't think, you just stop. You don't think, you just stop." 911 calls. 12 stopped vehicles. A human buffer between a 4-year-old and a freeway. For 4 minutes and 12 seconds, a group of strangers on a Phoenix freeway were the entire world standing between Noah and what that road could have done to him. They were nobody's first responders. They had not trained for this. They had been driving home from work. "You're safe. I've got you." 4 words to a 4-year-old on a freeway shoulder. She says them in the tone of someone who means them and knows they need to be heard. She does not rush past them. She holds the crouch. She keeps her eyes on his face. She stays at his level. He asked for more crackers. That detail has stayed with me since I first read the case file. Not as a heartwarming postscript, but as the specific, irreducible humanness of a 4-year-old who had just been through something no child should go through and whose immediate priority, in the safety of a hospital, was crackers. He was 4. He was hungry. He ate the crackers. He was okay. The mother. Noah's mother, referred to in the case file as his maternal parent, was contacted by Arizona DPS at 7:48 p.m. on June 14th. She had not known where Noah was. She and Marcus Webb had been separated for 14 months. Their custody arrangement, under an existing family court order, gave Webb scheduled parenting time every other weekend. June 14th was a scheduled parenting day. She had expected Noah to be returned at 8 p.m. She had not yet begun to be alarmed. When DPS reached her, she drove to Phoenix Children's Hospital in 22 minutes. The trooper who received her at the hospital entrance noted in the case file that she was moving fast enough that she had left her car keys in the ignition. She had to go back for them. The footage and the plate. The civilian driver whose dashcam had captured the full sequence was still on scene when Trooper Vasquez arrived. She provided the dashcam's SD card to Vasquez at 7:31 p.m. The footage was reviewed at the Goodyear, Arizona DPS District Office at 8:02 p.m. Webb's vehicle, a gray Honda CR-V, was clearly visible in the footage, including a full rear plate capture as the vehicle pulled away from the shoulder. The plate was run at 8:04 p.m. It was registered to Marcus Webb, Phoenix address. An attempted phone contact was made at 8:09 p.m. Webb answered. Things got out of hand. His description of placing a 4-year-old on the shoulder of a live interstate freeway and driving away. Things got out of hand. Not, I don't know what you're talking about. Not, my son is at home. He had answered the phone, heard the word child, paused for 4 seconds, and begun calculating. And the calculation he had produced in 4 seconds was that the footage existed and the plate had been run, and the correct response was not denial. Things got out of hand, and I think I need to come in. He was right that the footage existed. He was right that the plate had been run. What he had not calculated for was the depth of the investigation that was already building around those 4 minutes and 12 seconds, and what investigators were about to find when they looked at the full picture of Marcus Webb and Noah's 14 months under the family court custody arrangement. The interview. I kept going. I got on the ramp and I went home. He drove up the road, merged onto the exit ramp, and went home. He left his 4-year-old son on the shoulder of a live interstate freeway and drove home. Not a moment of panic followed by an immediate return. Not a call to 911. He got on the ramp and he went home. Reyes asked what he had done when he got home. Webb said he had sat for a while. Reyes asked, "Did you consider calling 911? Webb said, "I knew someone would find him. The freeway was busy." The prior history. The Arizona Department of Child Safety investigation launched simultaneously with the criminal investigation on the evening of June 14th, produced a case file that documented the 14 months of the Webb custody arrangement in the specific terms that child welfare investigations generate. That file, which the prosecution obtained and used in its case, contained 2 prior DCS contact reports. The first, from September 2023, had been initiated by Noah's preschool, which had reported that Noah had arrived at school on a Monday following a Webb parenting weekend with bruising on his forearm consistent with gripping and an account of falling that his teacher had documented as inconsistent with the injury location. DCS had investigated, found insufficient evidence for substantiation, and closed the case. The second, from February 2024, had been initiated by Noah's mother following a parenting exchange in which Noah had returned nonverbal and distressed for a period of approximately 2 hours. DCS had made contact with Webb, who had cooperated, and had again closed without substantiation. 2 prior DCS contacts. Neither substantiated. Both documented. And then June 14th, on a freeway, on dashcam, witnessed by 12 drivers and captured from multiple angles and documented in 9 separate 911 calls. June 14th did not require a substantiation assessment. June 14th was on video. Marcus Webb was not arrested on the night of June 14th. Detective Reyes and the Maricopa County Attorney's Office used the 8 days between the incident and the June 22nd arrest to complete the evidence package, the full dashcam footage analysis, the phone contact recording authenticated and transcribed, the DCS case history review, and a forensic review of Webb's phone for any communications in the hours before the incident that might establish state of mind. The phone review found a text message exchange between Webb and an unknown contact at 4:47 p.m. on June 14th, approximately 2.5 hours before the incident, in which Webb expressed, in profane and specific terms, his frustration with the custody arrangement and with Noah's behavior that afternoon. The messages were admitted at trial. The evidence at trial. Marcus Webb entered a not guilty plea. The trial lasted 4 days. The prosecution's case was built around 5 elements: the dashcam footage, played in full for the jury, the phone contact recording from June 14th, the text messages from 4:47 p.m., the DCS case history, and Noah's mother's testimony, which covered the 14 months of the custody arrangement and her documented concerns, including the 2 DCS contacts. The dashcam footage was the prosecution's opening exhibit. The jury watched it without commentary from the attorneys. The prosecution had decided, after reviewing the footage, that it did not require narration. It required viewing. The jury watched a gray Honda CR-V stop in a travel lane, a man exit, a rear door open, a small child placed on the shoulder, the door close, the vehicle pull away and accelerate. They watched it twice. On the second viewing, the prosecutor paused the footage at the moment the vehicle disappeared from frame and the child was left alone. She left the image on the screen for 90 seconds. Then she advanced to the moment the first civilian driver's hazard lights came on. The defense argued that Webb had been experiencing an acute mental health crisis on June 14th and that his conduct, while dangerous, had not constituted the intentional child abuse charged under the Class 2 felony count. The prosecution responded with the text messages from 4:47 p.m., which had been sent 2.5 hours before the incident and which documented frustration but not crisis calculated, directed, communicative frustration, not the disorganized communication of someone in an acute episode. The prosecution also pointed to the phone call at 8:09 p.m., the 4-second pause, what kind of incident, the gradual disclosure. A person in an acute mental health crisis does not manage a phone call with that precision. Guilty on all 3 counts. The jury deliberated for 6 hours. Arizona's child endangerment laws. Under Arizona revised statutes, child abandonment 13 to 3,619 Argentine pesos is defined as the intentional leaving of a child under the age of 7 in a place where the child may suffer harm, without making provision for adequate supervision. It is a Class 3 felony, carrying a sentence of 3.5 to 7 years for a first offense. Child abuse 13 to 3,623 Argentine pesos is defined as knowingly, intentionally, or recklessly causing or permitting a child under 18 to be placed in a situation that endangers the child's health or welfare. Under circumstances likely to produce great bodily harm or death, it is a Class 2 felony, carrying up to 17 years. The combined charges, with the endangerment count, allowed the prosecution to reflect both the specific Abandonment Act and the broader reckless disregard for Noah's safety that the investigation documented. The Safe Haven Law. Every U.S. state has a safe haven law statute that allows a parent in crisis to surrender a newborn or young child to a designated safe location without criminal prosecution. In Arizona, the Safe Haven Statute ARS 13 to 3623.01 allows a parent to surrender a child under 72 hours old to any hospital, fire station, or staff police or sheriff substation, anonymously and without criminal charges. For older children, the Arizona Department of Child Safety operates a 24-hour crisis line 1-888-767-2445 specifically for parents who are in crisis and need immediate support or safe placement assistance. A parent who calls that number is not automatically subject to criminal investigation. The line is staffed by child welfare professionals whose explicit purpose is to connect parents in crisis with support before a situation becomes irreversible. Marcus Webb had a crisis line available to him on June 14th. He had a DCS system that he had interacted with twice before. He had a phone in his hand when he called Detective Reyes at 8:09 p.m., the same phone he could have used at 7:22 p.m. to call for help rather than drive home. He did not use any of those options. But they existed. And for any parent watching this episode who has experienced a moment of overwhelm that felt like it had no exit, the exit exists. The crisis line number is in the description. The 12 Strangers. I want to close this segment with something that is not a legal lesson or a resource recommendation. I want to close it with the 12 people on Interstate 10 on June 14th. Nobody told them to stop. There is no law requiring a civilian to stop on a freeway for a child endangerment incident. Stopping on a freeway carries its own risk, and no one would be charged for driving past. They stopped because they saw a child alone on a freeway shoulder, and the stopping was the only response that was available to them. 9 of them called 911. 12 of them put their vehicles and themselves between that child and moving traffic. One of them stood with his arms out in the traffic lane. One of them brought a first aid kit. One of them stayed on the ground next to Noah for 4 minutes and 12 seconds, talking to him, until a trooper arrived. None of them knew each other. They were driving home from work, from grocery stores, from wherever ordinary people go on Friday evenings. And they stopped. That is the lesson the legal system cannot teach and that this episode cannot mandate. It is just what those 12 people did, and it is the reason this episode has a living child in it rather than a different kind of story entirely. That is the complete Marcus Webb case. A dashcam. 12 strangers. 4 minutes and 12 seconds. A trooper who crossed 4 lanes of live freeway traffic to reach a 4-year-old on a shoulder. A cup of apple juice and 2 packets of crackers in a Phoenix Children's Hospital examination room. and 11 years in the Arizona Department of Corrections for a man who said he knew someone would find his son because the freeway was busy. Noah is with family. He is okay. He is growing up in a home where people did not leave him on a freeway. He is going to learn to read and to ride a bike and to have an opinion about what he wants for dinner and to grow up into whatever he is going to be. The case file does not tell me what that will be. But he gets to find out. He gets to find out because 12 people on a Phoenix freeway stopped their cars on a Friday evening when they could have driven past. I think about the man with his arms out in the traffic lane. The trucker who stopped his rig across 2 lanes to slow the approaching traffic. The woman who stayed on the ground next to a child she did not know for 4 minutes and 12 seconds. The woman who thought to bring her first aid kit. They did not plan for this. They had been driving home. And every single one of them did the right thing without thinking about whether it was the right thing. They just stopped. If you witness a child in danger alone, in distress, in a situation that does not look right, call 911 immediately. Stay if it is safe to do so. The 9 callers from June 14th gave Trooper Vasquez a precise location, a vehicle description, and a head start before she was on scene. That information mattered. Your call matters. If you are a parent in crisis, if you are in a moment where the walls feel like they are closing in and you cannot see a way through, call the Arizona Department of Child Safety Crisis Line at 1-888-767-2445 or the Child Help National Child Abuse Hotline at 1-800-422-4453. Those lines exist for exactly that moment. Please use them. If this episode gave you something, the investigation, the legal framework, the 12 strangers, or just the understanding that a freeway full of ordinary people on a Friday evening can be the difference between a tragedy and a story where a 4-year-old asks for more crackers, please subscribe and turn on notifications. The Patreon is in the description. Drop a comment. Tell me what stayed with you. The man with his arms out in the traffic lane? I knew someone would find him because the freeway was busy? Trooper Vasquez, you're safe. I've got you. Judge Reyes's sentencing remarks? The crackers? I read every one. Take care of yourselves. Take care of the children around you. I will see you in the next one.